welcome to Magic Gathering Strat 2. I'm sorry. Welcome to Magic Gathering Strat. My name is Ted, not Magic Gathering Strat 2. This is Project Grixis version 2 deck tech and introduction. Just very quickly, for those that didn't see version 1, the basic idea is to start with a very cheap deck and slowly build it week by week towards tier 1. If you look at the version 1, you'll see we started with a deck that was approximately between 25 and 30 tickets online. And this is what we're adding to that deck this week for version 2. And version 2 will be the videos that you see, the gameplay videos that you see following this. So, I got some feedback, a lot of feedback. Didn't get any feedback from the wrap-up video, but the wrap-up video wasn't very good, I'm sorry to say. I'm going to try a lot better for my next wrap-up video. But, so this is what I decided on, and it's kind of like an amalgamation of some suggestions. Nobody really gave any suggestions on lands, except for one person, some really budget land, which was Crumbling Necropolis. But I decided not to use that land. I think that our budget is pretty okay. The idea is only to limit ourselves to $15. It's a little over, but actually when I put this together, I think it was right at 15, like $14.98. And subsequent to that, it went up a little bit, but I saved this screenshot. And as you can see, like I said, prices online vary so much. This is what the prices were when I bought it, and this is the prices today when I'm recording this video. I'm actually recording the introduction after the gameplay videos because of scheduling issues, but $17.42. So in a matter of, I believe it was 3 days, prices went up $2, and that's really a polluted delta. Sorry, here's the online prices. Polluted delta. They've gone up to basically $7.50, from $6 to $7.50 a piece, just about. So let's see. I added a Izzet Staticaster for my sideboard. 2 Faithless Looting is a card I wanted to try. After, well, I'll let you know about this in a second as to how I came up with this. Izzet Charm, Radka's Charm, 2 Blightning, and then the mana, which is really what I wanted to improve. These cards here, they're just to try stuff out, see if I can make incremental improvements to the deck. These cards aren't typically played in the tier 1 version, but like I said, sometimes you have to take little steps, intermediate steps, as you work your way there to make the deck better, to make the 75 better, rather than just blindly add the next card off the list, scratch one card off your list and put it back into the deck. So we got a Blood Crypt, a Dragon Skull Summit, and a Drowned Catacomb. These are basically so cheap that it didn't make sense not to include them. And 2 Polluted Delta. So now we do have 2 fetch lands. And the reason why I used the Blood Crypt and not the Water Grave was because we have lots of blue sources. Our problem is our black and red sources. And I'm finding out more and more that I might be light red sources. I feel that a lot of times I'm short a red source, or I start, I have a keepable hand but no red sources, and that's why I added the Blood Crypt, because it gives us both black and red, and we can fetch it with our Polluted Delta. There's only 3 lands, other than basic lands, of course, that we can fetch with the Polluted Delta, the Blood Crypt, and 2 Steam Vents. So I thought this gave us more bang for our buck than Watery Grave. Also, Watery Grave is about $4, so that would have put us over our budget. So before I show the, I go to MTGO online and or MTGO and show the deck. I wanted to thank Ethan Singer, who in his comments suggested he liked the project and he liked how I broke down basically $1,000 deck into a $60 deck. That's the paper value. Don't ignore this $60. It was actually closer to $130 in paper value. But just for fun, I put together a $60 version of it, and you can see it's $58.74. This is extremely small because it's the only way that I could fit all 75 onto one screen. And I called it $60 sneakers and you got no job. If somebody can, let's see, I'll make up a contest, and I'll put it in the comments of this video. If somebody can, I'll see how some way that maybe I can send somebody a card if they get the reference to what this means. So let me zoom in a little bit so that you can maybe see what's going on. And basically, we had to gut the mana base to make this $60 deck. This looks like a lot of fun, but the reason why I'm talking about it here is because in making this deck, it gave me ideas of how I could tweak the actual version 2 deck. So I got the idea of Blightning, sort of like as a substitute for Culligan's Command. Obviously, it's not Culligan's Command, but it does give us a little bit of hand disruption. And I'd like to thank Remedio for that. He suggested Duress, which is also in here. It's here in the sideboard, and that's also in the main deck, in the actual deck. And that's where I got the idea to put in Faithless Looting as a way, as another way to try and get more cards into our hand, or get rid of dead cards, because we are still running 22 lands in this deck, and we are running I believe still 22 lands in the main deck. But the other thing that I want to point out is that it makes you think differently from, just, well, I gotta have Snapcaster, I have to have Cryptic Man, I have to have, Seer Visions. So there's a Sigil Starfish. Obviously, if I wasn't gonna exceed that $60 paper value, I would put in, say, a Thassa as a way to scry and help flip our Delver and just get rid of dead cards, lands, that kind of stuff. And there's Infiltration Lens in here. This is really just a placeholder. I would not recommend using Infiltration Lens. There's so many other cards you can put in. You can put in 2 more Duress. You could put into Lightning Strikes. You could put in, just about any other, 1-drop or 2-drop in here for that. But it also illustrates, you got to start thinking. I was thinking about, was there a way that I can draw some extra cards? And this does, but it's really not very good, to be honest with you. And I'd like to also point out that in this $60 paper value deck, we did manage to sneak in a Tasigur and still keep a Terminate. And that's really where a lot of money is in the deck. Tasigur's $8 and Terminate is almost 4. Alright, so enough of this. Let's get to the deck. Alright, so here are the cards that we put in. These are the ones that were from that list. Essence Scatter, 2 Faithless Looting, an Izzet Charm, a Radko's Charm, 2 Blightning, Izzet Staticaster, Dragon Skull Summit. I have to scroll, I'm sorry about that, because it won't fit in the screen. Blood Crypt, Drowned Catacomb, and 2 Polluted Delta. And in this sideboard here, I have the cards that I pulled out. 1 Negate, I pulled that out of the sideboard. A Typhoid Rat, a Counter Squall, 2 Electrolyze. I found it's a little slow. I think that, we'd like to draw cards, but, it's not, it doesn't end up, usually, when you're playing the better decks, it's not as good as a card. I removed 1 Terminate. Actually, I moved another one to the sideboard also. I removed 3 Dismal Backwaters, a Pyroclasm, 2 Sirens of the Silent Song, which I told you was going to be one of the early cards cut, and 1 Vampiric Link. So now let's see the actual deck, and that's version 2 here. So we will move. Well, no, I don't want to move that. I want to move this. Here we go. And I apologize. I'm playing in a window so that we get the right aspect ratio. And here's the way the deck looks now. As I said, I mean, it's easier to see it from the sideboard. I pulled out both counter squalls from the main deck and just put 1 in the sideboard. I took out the 1 Pyroclasm, and I took out a Vampiric Link. I put in a Duress in the sideboard and 1 in the main board. I took out a Negate out of the sideboard and put in a Terminate from the main deck. I will post a deck list for this in the description after the video gets posted. I also want to do, for my next introduction video for version 3, a sort of like a spreadsheet or a table that shows exactly where we are money-wise, how much money we spent, how much money is in the deck currently, that sort of stuff. What cards we have that we can possibly sell off to use to purchase other cards, that sort of thing. Because we can get rid of cards, and we might have to. Like I would see myself getting Bloodstained Mires as a substitute for Scalding Tarns, and then eventually selling them off to replace them. And as that's another way that we can get fetches. The Bloodstained Mires are much cheaper than the Polluted Deltas. So that's the introduction and deck tech. Some of the games, I just wanted to warn you, some of the games I was still messing around slightly with the mana base. I tried going down to 21 lands, but I found it wasn't working out too well. So there might be a game or two where there's only 21 lands, and then I subbed back in a land. I think that time when I had 21, I had 3 Terminates, not 2. But basically, it was a small difference. It's a lot of land for this style of deck, but it's what we have to do because of the lack of fetches. So, thanks for listening, and I will bring you Game 1 as soon as it gets posted. Alright, thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, it really helps us out. You can find us on Twitter at MagicGathStrat, Facebook /MagicGatheringStrat, or on the web, magicgatheringstrat.com. There you can find articles and free prize-supported leagues. This is all brought to you by our Patreons and cardhoarder.com. If you enjoyed this content, please consider supporting us at patreon.com/MagicGatheringStrat.